All right. Well, welcome to Stock Analysis Friday. My name is Bennett McDowell with TradersCoach.com. I'm going to be your host today as I guide you through different stock analysis. And today, of course, is February 9th, 2024. All right. The Dow's up, or down rather, about 70 points. NASDAQ's up a little bit, so kind of a mixed market. We'll take a look and see how the stocks look today. Before we get going, I'm going to cover a few administrational items, but also go ahead and type your stocks in caps or ETFs. So we can look up either stocks or ETFs for you. Just type them in caps and do 3 at a time. That way it gives everybody a chance to, kind of see what's going on. We are going to keep posting the picks up there. We talked last week of possibly removing that, but we had a discussion this week, and we kind of think it's better to have it up there and we can see it. If you need me to open up a chart, I'll be glad to do that. If that helps you see it better at some point, but I don't think it's that bad. All right, so let's go ahead, dive in and get to the administrational items here. All right, first thing I want to cover, of course, are the risks in trading. Like I always say, without those risks, there is no opportunity. So the two go really hand in hand. We want you to be aware of the risks, know how to combat them as best as possible. We do that through, obviously, funding our account with money you can afford to risk. That's step one. And then calculating your trade size, also known in the industry as your position size on each and every trade. That way, you know the potential loss before going into the trade, if, of course, you also know where you're going to get out when the trade goes sour. So please know how to do that. We can help you if you want help with that. And then finally, please be sure to check with your financial advisor or whoever manages your money to be sure any of the items we talk about or the stock opportunities we suggest here are suitable for you. I don't know your personal situation. They certainly should, so they'll be able to better direct you. All right, on the book format, 2 books on money management, Traders Money Management System on the left and Money Management for Traders second from the right. Both excellent books. They both cover what you need to know to implement good risk control. The book on the left is a very comprehensive dive in the topic. The book on the right, I basically cut all the material out that I think would not be necessary for you to necessarily apply it right away in your trading. So if you want something nice and clean, quick, Money Management for Traders on the right is the way to go. If you want a more comprehensive dive, grab the book on the left. Elliott Wave Technique Simplified, published by McGraw-Hill. That's been out for quite some time. It's a great book on trying to simplify the Elliott Wave for you. And also, too, it gives you a way in which you can assign a percentage of the accuracy of the Elliott Wave count. So you definitely want to check that out. Survival Guide for Traders is available for everybody wanting to run their trading business using today's technology right from your home. And then the Art of Trading, second edition on the far right is coming out this year. And that is going to be a pretty good book in terms of an upgrade from the old book. It's going to be about 400 pages. So it's going to be a big book. And I think it's going to be the best book I've written so far. So definitely check that out. When we look at charts today, you're going to see maybe software tools you're not familiar with. I'll try to do a little explanation as we go along. But these are the tools I use. We have charting software, scanners. Not going to be using the scanners today. We have risk control software as well. We aren't going to be doing that because I'm going to be basically fielding stocks you want me to look at. All right. And finally, give us a like. Take a minute right now and do that for us. Give us a like, subscribe, share this with your friends. The more people we get here, the more picks for everybody. All right. I'm going to jump in real quick and just cover a stock I'm really starting to like again right now. And that's Coinbase, C-O-I-N. I'll go through that in a minute. If you're new here, you got 3 charts. I'm using the NinjaTrader charting platform, and I have on the far left a 60-minute chart giving us a short-term view of what's going on with the market I like to look at. And then I have the daily chart here giving me an intermediate look, weekly chart on the far right over here. And of course, that will also give you an idea of what's going on the long-term aspect. Top is the scanners. We're not going to be using those. At the bottom are some of our software tools. And if you want to learn more about this, you can dive into our website at appliedrealitytrading.com or go to traderscoach.com. All right, Coinbase. I'm going to talk a little bit about this one. I'm kind of liking this one, guys. All right, it pulled back to the fib retracement area, and now it's rebounding. All right, and so I think if you want an early entry, this is not a bad one. We've taken out the bearish pyramid here, so that's no longer an issue. We've got green here, green here, green here, green here, green here, still a little red over here. So normally what we do is we wait for this to turn green. But because we've got this green, everything else green, I'm going to go ahead and recommend this for an early entry. Got to put your stop at the bottom. I'm afraid this thing is going to get a little too far away from us if we wait any longer. Now, that doesn't mean you're not going to get a pullback, because you will, all right? Hard to say how much of a pullback, but if your stop's under that bottom, I think that should keep you in. And I think now you've got a good 2-to-1 into the target zone. So I'm going to recommend COIN, Coinbase, at this time. I think out of all the cryptos, this one is looking like a really good one at this point for a nice entry. So keep that one in mind. All right, let's see what you guys got for me today. All right, Al, I think we start with you. I'm going to put you up there. All right, ACCO, let's take a look. And good morning. Yes, good morning to everybody out there. All right, so you're thinking about a long on this. Not yet, Al, okay? I don't like to go against this red PTF over here. So this is indicating basically we don't have a bottom in yet. So any trade to the upside has got to be considered temporary. And if you look at this configuration, what we may only get up to here is a profit-taking zone in here before it sells off again. So that's a no-go, okay? BBWI, let's take a look at that bad boy. All right, a little bit more impressive. We've had a pullback on the weekly chart. You can see it here. We did not take out, I don't believe, the high here. Let me just check this price bar right here. 82 on there, and we had, maybe we did take that out a little bit. All right, let's see here. I think that's the high right there, 81.72. So you took it out by slightly a little bit. So usually that's kind of interesting. Is that a double top, or is that just a pullback at resistance? So let's open this up a little bit further. All right, so we've got a complete pull down over here. Excuse me. So that is not a wave 4, a new impulsive wave up, and it looks like about a profit-taking fib retracement level back to here. So we're probably pretty good there. I don't think we went above wave 1 or into wave 1 yet there. So, okay, so maybe a long position here. I kind of think we can find a better one. I'm kind of scratching my head a little too much on this one, but I do think we're probably in an impulsive move that should continue. Let's get a feel on where this thing could possibly go. And I'm going to use multiple time frames to kind of get an idea. There's going to be a short-term aspect to this. Let's see if we did indeed on this chart get a pullback far enough. Not really. Okay, so we may still come back down. All right, I'm not going to recommend it, Al. All right, I still see some, maybe next week it'll be ready, but I think it could come down to 39.5 to 35, and we're sitting at 44. So no go on that. All right, SGRY. Okay, this one's pulled back, kind of similar to the other one. Looks like it's trying to break out. Let's try to get an idea of where this thing is going. Let's see if this chart helps here. All right, let me just, I think probably complex correction. We've still got a bearish pyramid here active, so I can't go against that. This is still coming up. No go. Okay, no go on that one. All right, so bring them back next week. We'll take another look, but right now, let's. I would not go into that one right now. Okay, I would kind of hang out on that a little bit. All right, let's keep going here, and let's see who our next one is. And I think Bradley, that's you. All right, so CVNA, CVNA. Let's bring that one up. Okay. All right, wow. Okay, so this one, not that old of a stock. If we bring up that weekly chart, you can see we only go back to about 2017. In the life of stocks, that's not a lot at the time. All right, big move up, total with retracement. So now what is the question? All right, we don't have an active bearish pyramid here. So that's been, stopped out. So, any entry you made up here, you're out now. You have yellow here, so that's neutral. All right, slightly green here, and it looks like, it's trying to break out. So it did break out up here, okay? It did do that. So then it pulled back a little bit, completely normal. And now I think it's going to be at a point where we see if it's going to break out again. Let's see if the lower time frames help us. And actually, they kind of do, all right? So I'm thinking maybe we've done the retracement on the 60. We're no longer any active P's here. Let's see if we can get a short-term target for this to see if we can make sense out of where this is going here. So we wave 2, 3, and if we got a 4 there, so the target's about 61, 80, 68 to about 74. We're sitting at 52. You'd have to put your stop probably at this pyramid here. And this is a short-term situation here. So here are prices here. 1, 2, you could probably just about make it into there. Not one of my favorites, all right? Let's see if this helps, but we do have a PTF here indicating more highs above 60. All right, I'm going to put it down as a buy because I can't really see a reason not to, all right? But I think when you get into the $61 to $74 range, you got to be moving your stops up, and we'll take a look at it again for you next week and see how that's doing. See if there's more strength or if we're at a point here now where the strength seems to subside. So we'll put that down as a buy, okay? UNH is our next one. Let's see what's cooking with that. Okay, long is a no-go on this simply because we have a red PTF on the short time frame over here indicating that this is not a bottom. So we should at some point continue on down to around 480. So that's a no-go, all right? QQQ, let's take a look at that bad boy. All right, you can see we've looked at this one before. We had a nice retracement here. We were waiting for that. All right, a bounce off, so 3, 4, and 5. So you have bearish divergence between here. This is wave 3 inside 5, and there's the hook. All right, so I'm thinking we're pretty close to the target. If you're in it, great. If not, no. Okay, you got bearish divergence building. Let's get a target on that before we really take a look here and see what's going on with that. So I'm going to come down here, draw an extension. I'm going to draw it from here to here to here. Yeah, we're already in the target, okay? So if you're still in this, I would go ahead and ratchet your stops up, okay? You can use this pyramid here for your stop or the pyramid over here on the 60-minute chart as well. I probably use the one on the 60-minute chart because we're already in the target zone. Okay, that's the QQQ. All right, Stuart, how are you, Stuart? All right, let's see, General Motors. Okay, let's open up that weekly chart first and see what that's looking like. So, here's General Motors. We go back to what, 2011 here on the data. And, 2011, it was right around 25, went up to almost 70 in 2022, now back down to 38.5. Not a very exciting stock, all right? It seems like it's picking up a little bit now, but I'm not seeing that much enthusiasm in it. And at the very least, you've got to clear some of these areas here. Let me grab a horizontal line. So this is the first place you got to clear before considering it, but this is the real place it's got to break out. So what could happen here is if you go in here, we'll take a look at the lower time frames. You don't want to get stuck in a channel for another year or so, right? So you don't want to kind of have your money tied up. So you kind of got to wait for that breakout a little better. And, yeah, it's coming up a little bit now, but it's got a further ways to go before we get above these areas here, which is, basically the same areas we're looking at on the weekly chart. So we kind of got some ways to go, right? So I would hold off on that one, Stuart. Let's take a look at Ford. All right, so let's open up this one. All right, so Ford had some trouble, all right? And you can see where the stock pulled back. This one, however, has pulled back correctly to the fib retracement on the weekly chart. We now get a green pyramid now to the upside. We've taken out the P pyramid as well, and we have a green PTF indicating that there's a high probability that this stock will get above its all-time high here. Now, on this indicator here, it's called the PTF, right? This indicator has a 75% accuracy rate. And basically what happens is when you have a big move, either up or down, if it turns this indicator, for example, in this case, green, it means that the momentum was so high that when we have seen this historically, there's a 75% chance it will eventually return and take out that high. It does not tell you how long it will take until it goes back up there or how extensive the profit taking is going to be before it returns. It does not tell you that. But after you've got a big retracement and you've drawn in your fibs and you're sitting in the target area for a normal pullback based on fibs, and this is green, then this is going to give you more confidence now to go long and put your target up here at the top of the high for your target zone. So, you know, this is an excellent trade to get in early based on this chart. Let's see if there's any negativeness on the lower time frames. And the answer is really no, okay? So Ford is a buy, all right? Now, I know they've had their trouble with their EV vehicles and the whole 9 yards, but from a technical standpoint, this looks pretty good. So maybe they paid the price and this thing is going to continue now to the upside. All right, let's take a look at your next one, SNOW. So Ford goes on the buy list today. All right, SNOW. All right, this is also looking good. So a couple things I want to say here about the overall markets for just a moment. As you know, we're bullish on the markets for right now. And this is the overall NASDAQ, this is the S&P, this is the Dow Jones. However, okay, there's a target up there, and I did a review on this a couple days ago, a market review, and I do that now every week on YouTube. So make sure you either see the recording or come live to that. And I cover the real estate market on there too. But the idea is, I think probably we're going to see some bullishness for a little longer in the markets, maybe another 6 months, maybe a little longer, maybe all the way to election. But there's a top out there, all right, that we're getting awful close to, that once that's reached, we are going to have a significant sell-off. Not a little sell-off, I mean like a 50% sell-off in the markets. That's looming out there. For right now, notice we're looking at all these stocks and they're all fairly bullish with green PTFs indicating significant highs. I don't think this big sell-off is coming now. I do think we're probably due for a little profit taking for a month or so. But after that, we should make another high before we have to worry about the next big sell-off. So I'm looking for the big sell-off at the latter part of this year, maybe bleeding into 2025. I'll have a better idea as the market progresses this year. But that's kind of where I'm coming at. So I do believe we're going to get a tremendous sell-off. But I think for now, enjoy the ride up because I think we're still going up for the most part. All right, with that out of the way, let's take a look and analyze SNO. I'm liking SNO for a long-term trade here, okay? So I'm thinking here that maybe we have reached a good bottom. We're coming out. And notice on this one, I'm going to open up this one here one more time. Notice here, let's draw a horizontal line here. Notice here, we took out this high here, which is kind of what we're waiting to do on some of those other stocks. So this is a buy, okay? SNOW, and I'm going to put a long-term buy because you actually could be in this one for quite some time until we break the PTF high. So I'm liking this one a lot. So let's see, who do we got up there? Stuart, you got Ford and SNO as a buy. Okay, good job today. All right, let's keep going here. All right. Okay, Lowell, you're next. Okay, Lowell, just remember, I can read yours fine right now, but next time, type them in caps for me, okay? All right, KR, let's take a look at that and see what that is doing here. Okay, so we had one more high here. I think we're still in a correction on this. You can notice the red PTF here. So this is a no-go for a long position. And I don't even think I would short it because we've already come down quite a bit since its high back in 2022. So I think it's still maybe working its way down. All right. So no go on that one. INO is our next one. All right. So this one, woohoo, look at this one, jumped right out. All right, INO, out of the gate. So let's see, let's open up that weekly. So here's one where it's jumped out of the gate before and it's come all the way back down. It's a $6 stock roughly. All right, and kind of what I want to do, I'm going to remove some of these drawing tools here right now. All right, and let's take a look if we can. Let's get this up. So there's no longer an active short trade. You can see that there, right? All the pyramids that would have made a ton of money on the way down are now, the last one has been stopped out. So the way the pyramids work, you know, you'd be short and then you trail your stops down on top of these until you're stopped out, which would have happened here. Okay, so you would not be short this market. We do have a green owl, which is our histogram up here measuring momentum. We kind of like to go long when that's green. Okay, so not so bad. We've had a bottom here. We've had our initial thrust up and our expected pullback. We want to make sure that's over before we jump into that. So let's see if the lower time frames give us some clues on this. And let's take a look at this here. And again, let me remove all these drawing objects here. And I'm going to remove them here as well. All right, so you've got a green PTF there. You've got a market that seems to be fairly stable on this one. So not very interesting, okay? This is really, really interesting. So I'm thinking INO is a buy, okay? I'm kind of liking it, and I'm going to tell you what I think it would be a good trade for. I call this a PTF trade. Now, the first target on this, I would make right here at the top of this price bar, because that's what the PTF is telling me. There's a 75% chance it's going to. All right. Now, here's the thing. All right. We filled the gap quite a bit already. Stop loss placement is everything. If we're wrong on the stop loss placement, we're going to take a loss on this trade, even though the PTF could still be right. So here's a possible scenario. We go long here, stop here. The market says, I'm not quite done selling off. I'm going to fill the gap again. We get stopped out. PTF stays green, and then it takes off. So if you get stopped out, the PTF remains green, you're going to want to try again. But for the sake of a good place to put your stop, you got to put it under here. Anything else really doesn't make too much sense at this point. All right, so let's put it under there. If we get stopped out, so be it. So 4.72 is your stop. 6 here, you got a 2-to-1 risk to reward. So this is okay, all right? And that's on a daily chart, so this would not be a long-term trade. Now, if we get up here, all right, and the momentum seems still pretty good, then go ahead and ratchet your stops up and try to stay with it as long as you can. So that's INO. So that's a buy, all right? Okay, so we're finding quite a few more this week, which is kind of interesting. All right, now here's this other one, HSY. We looked at this. We're kind of thinking, okay, it's going to be going up to this target zone here. It's working its way for sure. Let's open up that weekly chart and see what we've got cooking here. Yeah, I don't think it's corrected quite enough yet, so I don't want to jump into a long position on this because this may be the only place it's going in between these two blue lines, around 211 to 231. I guess if you're long, you want to stay with it until you get to the target. And you certainly got a PTF on the short-term time frame saying it should get to the target. So I think stay with it. Put your stop under this pyramid right here, but don't go in it now. So I'm not going to recommend it now, but okay if you're already in it. All right, Al, TTC. Let's see what we got cooking here. All right, so TTC, green PTFs all across the board. I'm liking that. Next thing we got to figure out is where is it going? What's the target? And looks like we had our retracement there. We could be going back up now above the PTF high. So, okay. Now, a couple things here, a little roly-poly, all right? So we got a bottom here that's held, all right? So we had a move up, did not take out the high, came back down, tried to take out the bottom, and then bounced off. That's bullish. That's a good sign. All right, possibly a double bottom as well. Green, green. So that's kind of okay for a long trade. Let's see what the shorter time frames. No longer a red PTF. We have green, so that's looking pretty good. And I'm going to go ahead and if we go into this, let's see where we want to put our stop. Our PTF high is going to be here on the weekly, so we're looking around 120. So I would put your stop under this level here. Let's give it a little bit more room than the pyramid here. And let's put it under this price bar here at 88.81 with a target up here of this high here of 116.78. So I think you got the risk to reward. So let's put this one down, TTC, as a buy. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at your next one, BAX. BAX. All right. Looks like it's bottoming, but too many red PTFs. Okay. So no go on that one. All right. Thank you. All right. Let's keep going here. All right, Frank, how you doing, Frank? Okay, RTX. All right, let's open up this bad boy on the weekly chart. All right, I don't know if you're considering a long position at this point. I would not short it at this point yet either, not until we have a little bit of a reversal. Red PTF is causing me problems to go long on this. All right, we have a move up here. Probably, according to this, we could see another move down at any time. So this is what I'm concerned about, a move down here because that is that. All right. Could you get something like this? Yes, but usually not with that. Okay. So I'm going to say no go on that one. Okay. All right. Let's keep going here. Take a look at your next one, BRTX. BRTX. All right, let's take a look at this one. All right, I'm liking the colors of the PTF better here. I'm also liking the fact we got a nice breakout here. All right, so this is sitting at $1.30, okay? Very inexpensive stock. But I think, let's see if it's making a new low here. This is kind of interesting, right? So we've got a bottom here at 120. We had a previous bottom, it looks like, at 141. Let's see what this price bar is. Well, yeah, 141. So it's made new lows within the last 2 days. Okay. A little concerning to recommend this for a long trade when it's sitting here. And we still have some red price bars on the daily chart. So I'm not seeing quite a turnaround yet. All right. I don't want to go long, even though this looks like a good long opportunity, until we have some bottom that we can kind of have some confidence in. All right, so we've got still a lot of red on the owl here, short term, and an active red pyramid here, and not an active one here though. All right, so what do you do on this? Bring it back next week. All right, let's put this on a watch list and bring it back and see if we can get down to a bottom that we can count on in order to anchor our stop if we want to go long. All right, so next week. All right, that's a no-go for today. All right, NVDA, NVIDIA, let's see what that is doing. The stock that won't quit, right? All right, so let's open up this nice chart here. Okay, so notice that the owl right here is indicating a wave 3. So we're in a wave 3 Elliott wave. That's the most powerful of the waves. And the owl is always going, the histogram is always going to be the highest point measuring momentum, okay, along with volume. All right, at the wave 3 indication. So we've got that. We got bearish divergence building up, but it's pretty strong still, and this is still green as well. So I would anticipate more highs. Now, here's my problem getting into these things. Is it better to get in here when this pyramid said to go long at 150, or is it better to get here in here at 714? Right? All right, so that's the dilemma. You don't want to, here is great. Okay, here is not so great because you're chasing the market. And eventually you'll get some profit taking and that'll stop you out. And you may not make any money on that trade getting in so late. Same thing on the 1 minute. I mean, look at the 60-minute and look at the daily chart, both extenuated now. So, this is the kind of chart that entices people to jump in, and usually at the wrong time, because, it just looks so powerful. It looks like it could go on forever. But knowing the markets as good as I do, this is exactly when you have to be patient and wait for a pullback to join the trend, or hopefully got in much earlier. If you are in it, Kumar, already, stay in it, okay? But you have a green PTF, so you're still making highs. The question is, I would probably put my stop, all right, as soon as this turns yellow, I would start using the stops on the pyramids on the 60-minute chart, all right? Until then, your stop would be here, which would allow for any profit taking, all right, to occur without getting stopped out. Now, if you're not willing to give up some profit taking that could occur down into, fairly low there, just a normal profit taking would put that under 600. And we're at 714. If you're not willing to give that up, then use the 60-minute chart and lock in profits as soon as it starts to come down, okay? So that's where I'm going with that. I'm not recommending it, but if you're long, try to continue to enjoy the ride a little longer, but watch it, okay? All right, let's see what else we got. TG, okay, let's see. Thank God it's Friday. Okay, yep. All right, I always type that in as a stock. All right, okay, so Kumar says he's already in NVIDIA, but will exit option soon. All right, good. Well, that's good information to know. I didn't know that when I was first looking it up. So if you're already in it, I would take a look at the 60-minute chart. And if prices drop there, you may want to consider exiting that option. Of course, I don't know when it's going to expire, and that could be also coming into your determination on when to exit. But that low on the pyramid is 695.54. So that's pretty close, okay, percentage-wise. So that should probably do you pretty good. My pleasure, okay? Let's take a look, Bradley, for you at IBM for some shorts here. All right. No, not yet. All right. So we've got green PTFs across all time frames now. And this recent move up created the green PTF even on the weekly chart. So, and you got green here, green. So no, you don't want to short this yet. Let's give it more time. And I think we got to be a little careful on this, especially since the PTF went green now. So no short on that. All right, Al, let's take a look at you, AVO. All right, AVO. All right, green PTF there. We got neutral, neutral. Let's take a look and see if, when the PTFs are neutral, all right, you don't have a scalp opportunity, because that's basically, whenever I take a PTF trade, it's kind of like a scalp trade. And if I can back it up to the fact that the Elliott wave in the fibs are all creating targets in that PTF range, and that is even better. Like that turns it into more of a swing trade than a scalp trade. So we've got to take a look when we have no PTF helping us. We've got to take a look at the Elliott wave and fibs. And there's not enough history for me to get a good read on this. So the other thing I can do here is let's take a look at this move down and see if we can see some type of wave count here that makes sense. All right. And we certainly may have a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5, right? So on that trend alone, we could have a bottom here. So, okay, and we have bullish here, bullish divergence, which is what you want. This is agreeing with what we're seeing on the chart. That's a good thing. This makes sense that it's yellow because we're at a bottom, right? Okay, so from an Elliott wave stance, that looks pretty good. Now, where's the target going to be? Well, could this possibly go above here? It could. But let's be a little bit conservative and say maybe the worst case scenario is that we get up to here and I draw these fibs, off. I anchor the fibs off wave 2 and wave 3. That's why I don't always draw them up here. All right, so our target is 1331 to 1641. We're at 10. All right, so if we put our stop back in here, you can see the risk to reward is not there. So, okay. So where else are we going to put our stop? Well, you could put it below this forming pyramid here. All right, a little risky because if you get any decent pullback for a double bottom, you're going to get stopped out. But that's the only place that would make sense if you're going to go in now for a risk to reward of 2 to 1. Because if your stop is here and we're going in here, then we got a risk to reward of a little over 2 to 1 to get to the target. And that's what we want. All right, so that's a possibility. Let's see if the lower time frames help us. All right, we got a pyramid here, we got here. All right, I'm okay with this one. Okay, AVO is a go. All right, with a target of 1331, and let's get that stop under the pyramid forming here, which is going to be this low price bar here as well. So we're looking at $9.80 for your stop. Okay, with a target of 1331. All right, so that's okay. All right, so that's a go. All right, let's take a look at your next one, BTI here. Okay, this one also perking up, but notice the red PTF on the daily chart, so that's a no-go. All right, Jim, how are you, Jim? All right, USO. All right, USO. All right, so USO is quite an interesting animal here these days. All right, so believe it or not, we're bullish on USO. Some people aren't, we are. All right, I think a target of around 100 to 125 looks like this, where this thing is going to go in 2024. And I'll tell you that, of course, will mean higher prices at the pumps, la-da-da-da-da, right? So why do I like this? Okay, so we had an impulsive wave up here, all right? Then you had a move down, okay, here, an ABC correction for a 4. So I can kind of see the waves pretty well here. Then we had our move off the bottom and the retreat down. And so now we're kind of, I think, in the wave 5, which should reach the wave 5 target zone up there. Wave 5s are not going to move dramatically like wave 3s. That's the characteristic of a wave 5. So you could have that. Now, what could go wrong with the trade? Well, the correction may get a little deeper before it rebounds. So that could be a possibility. And if that's the case, we'll get stopped out. All right. So, but I'm thinking this is looking pretty good. So if you're long, I would stay long. Try to get your stop as low as you can. You could even put it a hair under the bottom. You could put it at this pyramid right here. Okay. Do not put it here yet, because that's the problem with that. Okay. So if you put it here, you'll still have a good 2 to 1 into the target. I'm okay with that. All right. Now you might have to wait a while for that, but that's okay. So let's see if we have any red down here, and we don't anymore. So USO is once again back on the buy list. Okay. We took it off a little bit while it was coming down in this leg here, but now it's back on the buy list. All right, let's take a look at UNG. That is not on the buy list. UNG is the ETF for natural gas, and it's still looking for a bottom. Okay, still looking for a bottom here. Still coming down. This thing has got to prove itself. All right, we got to get back above here at some point. We have a green PTF, but we have an active pyramid. So it's saying, you know, and we'll see if this PTF turns, okay? It may, but for right now, don't go catching a falling knife, so to speak. At this particular point, we're still moving down. And notice we have the red PTF now on the 60-minute chart. So eventually one day, UNG is going to be a phenomenal buy, but not today, and it's too late to short it. Now, if you were short using our software in the weekly chart, took a long-term short, all right, you would have been, your stop would have been right here, okay? So you'd still be short that. So you still got some active pyramids, same thing with the daily chart, and even the 60-minute chart has all got active pyramids to the downside, all right? So UNG's a no-go. All right, BFH. Let's take a look at BFH. All right, so we're seeing a little bit of a perk up here on this. Let's open up this chart here. All right, let's see what we got here. I'm just going to quickly draw a horizontal line at this bottom here. And so far that's held. That's a big deal, okay? I'd like to see it break out though. I'd like to see it go above this area here. Okay, so that would be the first thing I'd want to see that happen. I'd like to see that thing do that. Okay, before I get too excited about it, because I don't want to get stuck in a channel for a year. You know, it very well could go, you know, bouncing around a little bit. So even if the lower time frames are bullish, I'm not ready for anything on this yet. Okay, that's BFH. All right, let's keep going. Eleanor, how are you? All right, NET. NET. Okay, took off recently, right? All right, green PTF. So now it looks like it's working its way up to the green PTF here. All right, so great example. Let's open this up. So grab a horizontal line. So basically you had a high support level there. You could have even ratcheted it down a little bit to here, but we have a clear breakout now. We actually had a breakout earlier, okay? So this would even been a better place to think about a long trade. All right, so this is definitely bullish, all right? Where's our target? Well, it's way up here because that's what the PTF is telling us, right? And let's actually go and change that green so we know that that is a bullish target. Okay, so even if you put your stop under this price bar, you got a good 2 to 1, almost 3 to 1 to the target, right? So this is your risk. And this is 1, 2, 3 potential profits per that risk. So that's a 3 to 1 risk to reward, even with the stop under that price bar. Okay. And you're going to have to adjust your trade size. You know, when your stop is further away from where prices are, your trade size goes down. Okay, so closer prices are to the stop, the trade size goes up. All right, but so anyway, let's take a look at the lower time frames and see if those are looking good. And yeah, they are. You'll probably fill this gap somewhat, but the fact that you know, you could get more highs right away before that happens is also there. So I'm going to put net down as a buy, long term. All right, you certainly may have to hold this a while. And I do think you'll get a pullback, but I don't think you need to wait for it. I think just put your stop under that price bar. So put your stop at the very least at 70, what is that? 79.10. So $79.10. So net's a buy. All right, APO. Now look how many stocks we found so far today. We've got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, almost 9 stocks today. So with that many bullish opportunities, I don't feel we're near a top in the overall markets yet. All right, so let's take a look at APO. Okay, APO is already run up quite a bit, so I don't want to chase it. Is it going higher? Yes. If you're in it, I would stay with it. You've got now a green PTF on the daily. Your stop can be right here, and that should survive any profit taking or volatility. When these turn yellow, you can bring it back next week. Then you want to start ratcheting your stops up, because I imagine this move up that we've been in for quite some time, all right, we'll probably go into some type of correction at some point. But until then, enjoy the ride up, okay? So that's APO. All right, let's take a look at ARM. All right, not much history on ARM, okay? So that right away makes me a little nervous on recommending it because I can't get a good Elliott wave on it. All right, couple things here. Let's open up this chart. All right. So very interesting. We got green here. All right, do we have a scalp trade there? Okay, possible, because that's what that's saying. Now, look at this price bar here. In technical analysis, this is called an inside, I'll put IP, all right, inside price bar, because it's inside the larger price bar. Statistically, if this stays as an inside price bar today, on Monday or next week anytime, if we go above it before going below it, then we're good for 2 to 5 price bars in that direction. and we'll probably take out that PTF right away. Is that a trade? Perhaps. Put your stop under it. And if you go in here, you know, you don't have quite 2 to 1, but if you get any follow through, you might. All right, so maybe a possible scalp trade there. If prices go below it, all right, and this stays green, let it ride down, turn around, and then now you might have your 2 to 1 risk to reward. So watch how that breaks out on Monday. I'm not going to recommend it today, but even if you don't have a lot of history like we don't have here, that still could set up for a trade based on the PTF and other forms of technical analysis like an inside price bar breakout, okay? All right, so out of those 3, Eleanor, I like any T right now, but ARM could be interesting. All right, back to Frank here. BIGZ, BIGZ. Let's see what we got cooking. All right, nice. We got a little bit of a breakout here. I'm liking that. We've got a pyramid breakout here. Let's draw in a horizontal line here. Okay, we haven't quite gotten above that. It's close though, okay? We've got a bottom that was put in the last couple of weeks. Okay, all right, so that's bullish, except for the fact I'd like it to break out of that upper line there. Let's see what the lower time frames. Okay, very bullish down here and very bullish here. Okay, so what do? Well, if you feel chancy and you want to go in early before the breakout, there's no reason not to. You got to put your stop, however. I think you got to be careful with this one because, you know, if you get any type of pullback, this stop should hold it unless it's going to be a double bottom pullback. All right, that's the only tricky thing. You've had a little pullback already here, so you have an uptrend in place. So I would probably, you know, again, now where is it going is the next question. And let's bring a little bit more. We don't have a lot of history on here. So the only thing we can really do with this one in terms of this is draw in a retracement. Let me see where I think I'm going to want that to be here, maybe. All right. So we're looking at maybe $11.45 to $14. So if you went in now and put your stop, you know, below that pyramid there, you would have a 2 to 1. All right. So possibility. Okay. Now you're chasing the market on the 60-second. So we could get a pullback to 760 if you want to wait it out. In other words, if you want to wait that out a little bit, you could get a pullback and perhaps a better entry. But you could take that now if you wanted to. All right, with a stop under there. Just don't be surprised if it goes from $8.11 down to $7.60, because if this thing pulls back at any time, and we draw fib retracements here, we're looking at, you know, 774 down to 751 for a retracement. So you're kind of chasing the market a little bit on both the 60 and the daily. That's the only thing that is giving me reservations. I would like that thing to pull back and see how far it pulls back and then go. So I'm going to put this on a watch list. I'm not going to do this right now. I think it's chasing it too much. That's my gut feeling. The indicators are saying go. You can go, but I think you're going to be able to get a better price. So let's look at this next week. Bring this one back next week. Okay, I like it. I just think you want to be careful not to chase it. So that's actually a personal decision. Some people might want to go. I would probably wait for the pullback. All right, NVO. Okay, NVO, same type of thing. No question that it's bullish. We've got an extenuated market here. So if you're long already, this is beautiful. You just put your stops under the pyramids and you're good to go. We also still have a very powerful owl momentum. And so I think some more room to the upside. But again, you know, on all these things, we're chasing the market here. So is it better to get in here or here? All right. The problem with getting in here, it's Russian roulette. Could it go higher? Of course. Okay. Of course it could. But how much higher is left to a little bit? I think we're probably targeting right about now. You could run a Elliott wave extension on the underlying moves. You could do that, all right, for sure. But I think we're already in the target for that. So I'm kind of thinking you want to hold off on that, all right, at this point. Let it correct and then maybe think about jumping back in again at that point. All right, so next one is AV. AV. All right, so AV we've looked at before. And now we've got some green here, over here, green PTFs all across the board. All right, so the question is, you know, is this a bottom here? If so, you probably want to think about it. But you got a couple things here. You got a red PTF that's still active. So I kind of want this thing to take that out a little bit. Let's see if it did already. Maybe it did. All right, let's take a look at that price bar. That's 126.20. And that is 126. Boy, hold on. All right, let's get that price bar exactly right. So that's 127. So it technically has not taken it out yet. So I think I would wait for that pyramid to be nullified before getting excited, because we may drop down and make one more low, okay? That's kind of what could happen. Don't forget, the PTF could remain green even if it's still reaching down a little bit. All right, so that's AVAI. All right, Alexander, how are you doing? All right, okay, let's take a look at that bad boy. And then let's see, you're saying short on that and long on your others. So let's get this loaded. Oh, whoops. Help if I type it in correctly, right? Okay, let's try that. Okay. You don't want to be short here. Okay, you've got green PTFs on the 60 and the daily. You've got green owls, and you've got no red PTFs indicating a reason to be short. Okay, so no short on that. All right, let's take a look at MARA. Oh, Mara, I'm glad you're looking at this one. Okay, so this one's starting to perk up again. And notice how it nicely here came down to its retracement level, a little bit beyond. So, you know, 70% of the time when we draw these things from a wave 2 to a wave 3, this becomes the high probability target zone between 38.2 and 61.8. 15% of the time they go lower and can still be a wave 4 of some degree, as long as they don't, you know, go into a wave 1 target area. So wave, you know, is up here. Let me just redraw this a little bit. I know I used that. Yeah, that's okay. All right, so that's okay. Let me redraw a fib extension here now. So your target is there. So your PTF is even higher than the beginning part of the target. So your target for this should be $31.30 and a little bit over. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Got a nice bounce off. You took out that high, so you technically have an uptrend in place. All right, and so on this one here, you will get a pullback. And unfortunately, at this particular point, even with the PTF high, it's broken away so fast here that your entry would have been better yesterday when it broke this area. Because, you know, here's the thing. If you put your entry here when it broke out and put your stop down here, you would have had the 2-to-1. Now you don't have the 2-to-1 because you're way up here. So wait for it and see if it pulls back, okay? If it pulls back, jump on it, okay? So let's put that on a watch list. Now, I do think it's going higher. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying anything that it's not going higher. It's just a matter of the risk to reward was not there for that one, okay? All right, let's keep going here. All right, what do we got here? We have got Al with Fang, F-A-N-G. Okay, short. Okay, so PTFs are red on that. I'm liking that for a short position. Let's see if there's enough risk to reward, and it doesn't look like there is. Okay, so again, you know, here's our target. Let's see, based on this is here, here, if you put your stop here, you got a 1-to-1, okay? Here, 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 again, 1-to-1. So no go on that one, unfortunately. All right, let's take a look at another one for you. All right, CMCSA. Okay, this is a short too. Again, your target is down here. So let's just make sure. We always got to make sure. Here's our target. So here are prices. So where are you going to put your stop? Even this, where are you going to put your stop? Even if you put it above a fib retracement, above this bar here, it's 1 to 1.2 or 3 or 5. Not 1 to, I like to have a 1 to 2 before I recommend it. So I agree with the short idea. It's just that the risk to reward needs to be better. Now, that doesn't mean during the week next week, this thing can't come up and roll over, and then you have a good risk to reward. That could be possible. So keep an eye on it on your own, okay? All right, Mara, we looked at that one already. All right, sorry, Alexander, missed Goldman Sachs, yes. If I miss one, just let me know, okay? All right, so Goldman Sachs, we looked at before, and it's reaching up to its target, right? So again, our target on this was 429 to 521. We're at 382. All right, so we had a nice move off its bottom. And at this particular point, again, entry, if you put your stop here, it's awful close. All right, if you get any decent profit taking before it goes up further, all right, then that could be an issue. If you use the pyramid here and here, you definitely got almost a 3-to-1, right? So that's okay. Let's see what the underlying charts are showing. That's a weekly chart I'm showing you right here. So let's take a look at this. Yeah, it's a little bit gotten away from us a little bit. So it would have been better to get the pyramids off the daily chart for this leg up. All right, it's too late now. Got 1, 2, 3, 4 pyramids in a row. All right. Now, if you're in it to the long side, enjoy the ride. Okay. But if you're not, then, don't go in it yet. Now, a couple of things is, all right, when you have a green PTF like here, okay, it's probably going higher. So, this could be, if this target here gave us a good 2-to-1, which it might here, there's a potential for a trade on the 60-minute. Do you see it? All right. But wait for this to turn green. So I can't even recommend it there right now because we're kind of heading down a little bit more. So you kind of want to hold off on that. Okay. All right. So that is that. And let's keep going. Eleanor, Apple. Anybody get the new headset from Apple? Looks pretty cool, actually. I don't know how I'd use it, but it looks pretty cool. All right. I'd probably be running into the walls with it or something. All right. So now here is Apple. All right. We had this pullback bottom here. All right. I don't need that anymore. That is done. All right. So what do we do with Apple now? Let's open up this bad boy here. So here was a pullback. We got that. Okay. And so now we haven't really, you took out the high here. So bearish divergence. And when we did that, it also created a yellow PTF. All right, so interesting. All right, so we're kind of, a little toppy on Apple. All right, is it getting to roll over, or are we going to have one more high before it does it? That's the million-dollar question. And if so, where is it going to go? So let's just take a look at this and see. First, let me draw an extension here. Let me see how far back I got to go for that. Okay, I think I'm going to put this retracement from here to here. So we did get almost enough of a retracement there. Okay, we got into the target. Okay, so let me remove that. So there's our target, 217 to 274. So, you know, it looks like it may still be working its way up, but it's kind of getting toppy. This is not helping us much there. And we're kind of stuck in a, you can almost draw a pennant right here. Check this out. Oh, maybe not. I guess not. All right, I was thinking maybe we could get a pennant in there, but not because of this price bar. Okay, so, you know, we definitely have it channeling. All right, so I'm not crazy about it. I don't know if you're long this already. If you're long, all right, and haven't been stopped out, you might want to put your stop, you know, under this level here. What is that? Probably, and give it a little room to make one more high, 165.67. All right, if you want it a little tighter, you can put it under this pyramid or this price bar would be probably better, 179.24. Okay. All right, let's take a look at Meta. I'm not going to recommend that one though for a buy. All right, Meta. Okay. This obviously uptrend, more highs to come, green PTFs. I just wouldn't chase it. If you're in it, stay in it. All right. Don't have your stop so close either. Okay. You can actually have your stop way down here and give it some, you know, room to wiggle and waggle before making other highs. When these PTFs turn yellow, then start moving your stops closer. But as long as those are green, move your stops back. And give it room for some wiggling opportunity. I would not recommend this as a new buy yet. Let's see if it fills the gap and see if the PTFs can give us a scalp trade on it. Otherwise, you know, it's just at a point here where you'd be chasing it. Okay. All right, Alexander, back with DWAC. This has been a very interesting stock, right? Okay, this one really catapulted to the upside. And this was a good one because we talked about this one being long in it, okay? So, you know, nice job on this. Excuse me. All right, so we've got a breakout on the weekly chart, but not much history. A little bit more history here, okay, as it moves up. And where is this going? Let's open up this. And at this particular point, the PTF high is here. All right, and prices are here. Stop would have to go under here. So at this point here, if you didn't catch the breakout off this pyramid here up in here, then it's kind of too late at this point. All right, because I'm not sure where it's going. Is it going just to the PTF high, or is it going to take out this high here? From an analysis standpoint, using technical analysis, there's not enough history to make that call, okay? If you want to be conservative and make some type of organized call, maybe, you know, you're already in the target for a retracement, okay? If you're in it, enjoy the ride up. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4. You've got 3 pyramids after the correction here. Yeah, I'm thinking also too, you probably, this is interesting. This is yellow. So you'll probably take out this high here at some point, but you're also close to going red here. So I would wait for a pullback and maybe try a scalp trade a little later, not now though. Okay, RCL. If you're in it, you know, use the stops on the charts for that. RCL, let's see, long on this one. No, I'm not seeing it on this. Okay, plus you got some movement still down on an active pyramid there. And GPN. Okay, so this looks good. Let's open this up for a long-term trade. So my target on this is 220 to 229. We're at 135. So that's decent, okay? Stop here. Gives you about a 1.5 to the beginning target zone. We don't have a PTF there. So when we looked at this earlier, I think we liked it at probably a better price. All right, so we've got green here, green here. Let's try to figure out a potential place to put your stop that could give you a reasonable 2 to 1. And boy, this thing's getting ready, I think, maybe to also correct a little bit. So let's draw that up to here. So if you were to jump in now, you need to have your stop under 118, right around 118. I'm kind of thinking I love this trade, but I don't love it until it pulls back. So let's put GPN on a watch list. Okay, because I think eventually it'll pull back. And when it does, that'll give us the time, the opportunity. Okay, really cool. All right, I think that was the last one. Did I miss anybody? All right, I'm going to give you about 30 seconds or so if you want to type in another one. Other than that, we'll start wrapping it up. Good session today. We found a lot so far. We found 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, Alexander's got another one. All right, MRVL. Okay, long. So you're currently long on this. No reason not to stay long, okay? No reason not to stay long. You got green PTFs. I would not put anybody in this now, okay? Because again, I think probably it's a little too far along on the shorter time frames. Let's kind of get an idea of where this may be going here. Give me a second. Okay, so we're looking at 82 to 113. This was a pretty deep pullback, which is what's causing this here. Let's go back and see if we use a little bit different stop. We may get something a little bit more reasonable. All right, so pretty close, okay? We're looking at it struggling to get above the current wave 3 high, but that's kind of where we're at now. Wait for a pullback if you're not in it, and then maybe we'll take a look at that. So keep an eye on that. So I'm bullish on it, but it's just gotten away from us, okay? Yeah, it was a good session, right? Really good session. This is a good comment. Gene says, you guys and gals are on fire with 10 winning picks today. Yep, definitely. And, you know, it's kind of what the market gives us. Sometimes the market gives us a few, and sometimes it gives us a lot. But I know there's a lot of folks out there predicting a tremendous sell-off coming, and I don't disagree with that, but it's not now. All right, I think it's towards the end of the year. All right, Alexander, my pleasure. Okay, you have a good weekend too, and so does everybody else out there. All right, so let me just go over a few things really quick here, and then I'll put some intraday time frames up. All right, so let's see what we got for our picks today. So on the ones you can take today, all right, that is Coin, C-O-I-N, that's a crypto. All right, CVNA, Ford, symbol F, Snow, S-N-O-W, that's a long-term trade. You got INO for a PTF daily trade, TTC, AVO, USO, and NET for a long trade. So those are all immediates. All right, now on the watch list, we put BRTX, we put BIGZ, MARA, and CPN. So let's take a look at those that are on the watch list next week. All right, everybody, listen, have a great week. I'm going to pop some intraday time frames up there for everybody to kind of enjoy before we shut the room down. And those will be short-term time frames. But have a great week. Hope you're having a good February so far, short month this month. And then we get to look forward to spring. Ooh. Okay, so I'll see you next week. Okay, everybody, let me go back to the charts here. And there we go. Okay, so let me put this on the intraday time frames. And we'll get that squared away. And this happens to be MCL. Now, the short-term markets, you know, we have a day trading room, so we usually trade the futures markets, and this happens to be the micro crude oil. All right, and so there we have that there. Looks like the PTF on the only difference here is check out the time frames. This is 15-second, 1 minute, and 5 minutes, so pretty short. So this is showing a PTF. This is our long term. So this is showing our PTF here indicating more highs here, all right? So again, there's not a 2-to-1 really for us, so we can't do anything with that. Let's, for fun, take a look and see what the MES is doing. All right, possible short trade here, okay? So this is actually looking here. So how do you read this when you have two shorts possible in the long, and the long term has a longer term situation? Well, you can pass on the trade until they're all three synced up, or this usually will happen before this. So this is our target entry, stop, there's your 2-to-1. So you could take a short trade here, right? All right, so that would be a short trade with a stop up here. And there's your target down here. So that's a possibility. All right, and there's your risk, and here. Okay, you got about 3-to-1 on that. Well, we'll just keep it on there and see what happens for fun. All right, on that one. All right, so and then you want to get out when that PTF turns yellow down there. All right, everybody, awesome. Let's see, any more comments coming in? All right, we've got, oh yeah, give us a like today. Gene says give us a like. All right, let's see what, yep, TGIF. Good. Stu, have a fantastic weekend. Right back to you. And Stuart, you too. All right, I'll leave it on this. Give us a like here. If you could do that for us, that helps our ratings on the YouTube system. And other than that, I'll put some music on, and I'll see you guys next week. All right, have a good one.